All right. For 15th place, we are actually tied with two models. So spots 15 and 16 is a tie. Between
it
two,
should not be a tie.
Two incredibly good models.
Yeah.
One of which
they're both good.
One of which is
very good models. They are not equally good.
Yeah. One of which was deemed by two of us, not me, to be a top 10 model.
Yes.
And the other one, pretty much a consensus, here in the teens is where he belongs.
Yes.
And these two models are Treebeard from the Fangorn list.
Yes.
I assume with Merry and Pippin.
Sure. Yeah.
And Prince Imrahil of Dol Amroth with the full kit, armored horse and wings.
I don't want to take a dump on Imrahil. I don't. Imrahil is awesome. He's fight 6. He's got a +1 to wound with a lance. You get him on the horse. He's the 3/3/3/3/3 hero. He's got heroic defense and strike. Does not have an elven mid weapon, so that's the blemish, if you want to call it a blemish. There's very few models that have the 3/3/3/3s with the +1 to wound with the elven mid weapon who are fight 6. There's just not that many. He's not one of them. He's a great model, and of course you got the 12-inch banner bonus. He is nowhere near as good as Treebeard. He is not. I know the math says when you knock guys down, which Imrahil can do and Treebeard cannot on his own, that he's going to do more wounds. And I get that, and that's absolutely true. There is no universe in which Prince Imrahil wants to charge Treebeard. They are just not in the same class. That's my take. There you go. Hot take.
Like,
I had Treebeard number 4. So to be fair to Imrahil, I don't have very many models who like to charge Treebeard.
Well, and for the record, by the way, I had him at number 8.
Yeah.
Just so we're all clear. I will say this. When I was evaluating Imrahil, first of all, I liked Imrahil, and I know other people didn't do this for their evaluation, but I considered that Forlong the Fat was in range to give him the reroll 1s to wound. I assumed that he was fearless because Angbor was nearby, and I assumed, of course, he gets his own banner bonus. However, even with all of that, I only had him at number 17. He's like a whole 9 places after Treebeard. And the simple part of it comes down to Imrahil is an amazing killer when he charges.
Yes.
Then he gets the lance. Then he gets the 4th attack. Then he gets the knockdown. Then he gets 8 dice to wound. Having played against Imrahil many times, if you charge him, he is hard, but he's not that hard. And he's definitely within the range of, if I strike up and I happen to roll higher, I'm feeling great. If I strike up and we tie, I'm still feeling pretty great because I got a 50-50 chance of probably winning this thing. The only difference is that I can now kill the horse, and now he's never a really good killer. Oh, by the way, he also now wasted points for the lance because he has to drop it, and he has to go straight to sorting. So me personally, I mean, I tend to be a little more down on lances. I don't want to take a dump on lances. That sounds painful, but I don't like the lance over, say, a two-handed weapon on a horse like Gandalf has.
That's true.
I would much rather take a hand-and-a-half elven maned sword than a lance.
Well, Gandalf actually has 2. We didn't mention that.
Yes, because technically the staff is also hand-and-a-half.
Well,
so, which is why, by the way, Gandalf is 5 places above Imrahil in my
yeah. If you want to shatter one of his weapons, not that you could get a shatter off against Gandalf.
But assuming somehow you're playing against a new player who is playing like their first game and forgets Fortify Spirit exists, because admittedly Gandalf has a lot of magic spells.
Oh, sure.
If you somehow are taking a Black Shield Shaman,
right, in a match with Gandalf,
and you get within 12 inches, and you get to cast, and you're still alive, and you successfully cast the spell, and Gandalf doesn't have it up, and he doesn't resist on all of his will points, and you shatter it, he's still a very competent slayer. That's the danger, because it's still potentially strength 7 on the charge.
And to be fair, like, look, Imrahil is fine if you lose the lance.
Yes, I assume you two-hand.
Yes, but you're strength 4, not strength 5.
Glamdring makes you strength 5.
Right, but they're going to shatter Glamdring.
I
can't shatter the staff.
Oh, you can't?
You can't shatter the
you have to use your staff as broken.
You can't shatter the staff.
Oh, I thought you could just choose a weapon.
No,
there's
a specific in the rules.
Gandalf might be higher on my I assumed it was possible.
Yeah, you got it. There is no single model that can disarm Gandalf.
Right, because only the Witch King can
only the Witch King
or the Necromancer.
And the Necromancer.
Or another
staff, and they don't have shatter.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Fascinating. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent.
So let me
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me redirect the discussion away from Gandalf here again. Though I love the guy.
Minuteman Kirk is over there like,
You guys stop talking about Gandalf. Talk about Durin some more.
To be fair, no, he likes Gandalf the White. He just didn't like Gandalf the White as much as Boromir, Captain of the White Tower, who is coming.
He's
coming. We liked him
is
better than Gandalf
above
the White.
Gandalf, I think, from almost all of us. From all of us. All of us said he was better at slaying than Gandalf.
And who you'd rather build an army around is a completely different question.
Completely different question. Speaking of building an army around, I have a second mea culpa.
Oh, okay.
But it's still it would push Treebeard up above Imrahil from the tie, but it doesn't make Treebeard better in the killing matrix from my thing. Which this is partly going to be the framework.
You have not ranked these guys yet for us.
But here we go. All right, so Rythbryt, you had Treebeard all the way up at number 4.
I did.
All the way to number 4.
I did. I stand by that.
You recently dabbled with an idea of bringing Treebeard to our most recent tournament. You had a great time in practice games with him. You taught us a bunch of things about him. He is a great hero.
He is.
Right. You had him at number 8.
Yes.
Right?
And I stand by that.
And it's because he's fighting 8.
So no, it's because he has throwing stones that are
from
10. Number 8. That's what. No, I'm joking. It's for that also too. But yes.
Great.
But I love throwing stones, so there it is.
Right. I had Treebeard at 37.
You did. Do you stand by that?
No.
Okay.
Because since playing against Treebeard, here's what you can do. Nasty
You can
tricks.
do a lot of things.
The number one thing that separated like top 20 models in my estimation and none were doubling your wounding dice.
Yeah.
Right? Because winning fights, if you're fight 8 and you strike with 3 attacks, and you're fighting someone who is fight 5 or fight 6 with 3 attacks and a strike, your chances of getting about the same fight value is pretty decent. You probably have a good edge over fight 5 models who are striking because they're as likely to reach fight 9 or below, fight 8 or below as they are fight 9 and above, right? And so, it's like if you're starting from fight 8, you can almost say, I don't waste my might striking against you. Right?
Correct.
I'll take the 50-50 chance that I win or don't win because I'm defense 8 with 3 wounds and 3 fate. I'll just let you bounce off of me.
Right, and then and the number of models that can wound defense 8 or a defense 8 model on better than 5s is really low. It's a very low number.
You're part of the elite club that we are still getting to, or in the evil pods, which will be coming in the future.
Who are basically other monsters.
Exactly.
You have to be a monster, or you've got to be like Aragorn that cheats. With Anduril, or be a really Dwalin with an axe, piercing, striking, 2-handed can do it, and that's 4s. Right.
That's only
4s.
Only 4s, or like Gimli in certain regions, right? So,
sure.
There's an elite club. Here's the thing, though. On 2/3 of the model's scores were how well you beat how well you beat Shagrat, and how well you beat 3 Uruk-hai scouts.
Yeah.
Well,
Treebeard, by the way, will beat Shagrat like a drum.
It turns out, yes. But here's how he does it, and this was something I did not realize until later. You take him with the Merry and the Pippin upgrade, you dismount Merry and Pippin, and you trap.
Yep.
And I was like,
and you have 5 dice, basically.
That's a way to double your dice. And it increases Treebeard's hero killing score dramatically.
Yep.
Dramatically. Now, how well does he kill 3 Uruk-hai scouts, which was my warrior side of the equation, another 30-year score? He's already dicing them up. And if you charge with Merry and Pippin into those, you're actually going to pull them off, which is bad for Merry and Pippin. So I say just don't do it. And at that point, I allowed him to hurl, same as everyone else, and just knock over boatloads of models, and he did great.
Yeah, because look, he's strength 8.
And he's like 6 far regardless of what you're going to do.
So, but it made him jump from 37th to 22nd.
That's
and the reason
a sizable jump.
It's a very sizable jump. It moves him up 15 places in my metric, which would have put him well above where he is now.
Yeah, let me just put that.
So I went ahead and put the comment in this place.
Let me
just put this here in at 20 seconds.
What'd you say you meant? 22nd? So that would have been he would have been tied for 10th.
Okay, right. So he would have been a top 10 model.
Yeah.
right?
Which is,
And,
I think
and that's
he's,
probably where he belongs to
yeah,
be.
I think
To
he's in the top.
defend Immerhill, though,
Yeah.
here's where he kind of pulls ahead, right? First of all, 12-inch banner buff radius, Treebeard got nothing, right?
Yeah.
So in my metric, that's going to hurt. He's on a 10-inch move horse for as long as the horse can stay
No,
alive.
he's faster. He is
Right,
faster.
he's going to get bonuses there. He is, the cost difference is negligible, to be honest. 160 to 200,
Yeah.
So you might score a little bit better there,
Yeah.
whatever. But the main thing is that without having to find the space to dismount Marion Pippin and get the trap,
Mhm.
probably 7 times out of 10, Immerhill knocks things over more easily than Treebeard does, right? There are some models that neither of them will be able to knock
Yeah.
over, and that Treebeard will be able to trap, and Immerhill may not be able to trap, right? So in that case, you might see Treebeard getting benefits over cave trolls and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But Immerhill is not going to have trouble wounding a good number of monsters. Strength 4 with +1 to wound will do fine.
Right.
You wound up the really tough monsters usually on 5s, sometimes on 5s by 3s if they're defense 9 or 10,
Mhm.
right? So, it's fine, right? But for most things, defense 7 heroes and stuff, you're gonna knock them over, right? So long as they're not mounted, you kill the mount, so the next turn you knock them over, and you have no problem killing things, right?
Yeah.
So in Immerhill, while he's not Treebeard level, he is good. And if you assume that he has, which I didn't allow him to play, but if you assume that he has some Knights of Dolamarok near him to be fight 4 cavalry, well, fight 5 cavalry near him with +1 on the charge, whatever Immerhill and his buddies are running into, they are probably cleaning up, right? So I had him at 11. I had Immerhill at 11. You guys had him lower at 17 and 21.
Yeah.
I'm okay with him not being a top 10 model. I am okay with him being in this kind of band for where he is. I do think that he's better than a few of the people we're going to talk about. Not many, but a few.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear which ones. I don't. I'm looking at this now. I
think
don't.
I count
have him behind all
2.
these.
I think I count 2 models that
That
I
are
have
coming?
him up
Yeah.
above.
As you guys are looking
Yeah.
at that, I'll say this about Immerhill and his defense as well, because I do like Immerhill.
Yeah, no, I think
just don't
yeah.
think he's quite triggered. If you have to choose 3 heroic actions to have, and you're not a caster, he arguably has the 3 you want. Because he has strength, strength, and defense.
No, I disagree.
Well,
If you have to choose 3, you want
You want
strike, march, and defense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
If you have to choose 3, those are the 3 you want.
yes. I don't know.
You may not use
Well,
them,
fiefdoms
but those
have
are the
plenty
3
of
you
march.
want
I don't know.
because
Actually,
It's
in
really hard to
Fiefdoms,
find
he only
those.
has Captains of Dilemma,
Which I have plenty of.
which you have plenty of.
Because I don't know why you wouldn't want a fight 6 Captain of Dilemma.
yeah, we went through
So,
this.
yes, we don't need to
We went
re-talk
through
about
this.
this, but needless to say, I like his loadout. I like the fact that if you're up against a high fight person, he can be very high fight. If you're up against a high defense person like a Mumakil that's not higher fight value than you, then you can heroic strength. If you really don't feel good about stuff, you can heroic defense. I love the fact that he's got that versatility.
Yeah, oh, and I mean, look, to be fair, though, that's the one most of the heroes have is strength, defense. So Treebeard has that. All the monsters.
Yes.
They've all got that. And I think Elendil might have that too. Strength, defense.
I know
I
the
know
Rohan
Gilgalad
side
has
it's really
strength,
light,
defense,
that's
and
the
he
big
might have a
thing,
couple of
so.
others.
And I feel like in
He has strength, defense, and challenge.
Right, yeah,
for
that challenge, yeah.
Which,
So most of these coming up have strength, and defense. It's just, I like heroic strength. There are uses of it. I've written extensively on the uses of it,
you've written
but
more than anyone else in history has written.
I have, yes. But I think March is better. If I had to choose, you'd want those 3, and then you take whatever else. You take the strength, that's fine. But again, like, look, the situations in which you call a strength with Immerhill exist.
Mhm.
They don't. There are very few situations where you call a strength with Treebeard
yes.
because you don't need it
Right.
most of the time. Like, look, you're ruining Durin on 5s. Anybody less than Durin is 4s or better.
Right.
And if you got Durin, you just rend him
Yep.
because you're a monster, which is the other big thing.
Yeah.
So I do want to make this point about monsters. We're going to talk about, like, look, Beorn is coming next. Can I spoil that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beorn is
Yeah.
14th. And Gwai here is coming a little bit later on. The thing about the monsters that I don't know that it's fully captured in the stats that we have. A model like Imrahil or Aragorn or Elendil or Dane, or pick your big nasty mounted hero that just cleaves through everybody. 90 to 95% of the time, look, they catch a hero on foot.
Yeah.
They're going to be messing up that hero if they're on horse. If they catch another hero on horse, they're no worse than in a 50-50 matchup with that kind of hero. But if you catch a monster on foot with a mounted hero, yes, you get the +1 duel, but you are not knocking them over. Not these monsters. These are all strength 6 or above. Beorn and Treebeard are 8. Like, I don't think there are any good mounted heroes. I don't think there's any mounted heroes except for Helm on the charge with the Rohan army bonus, which means you're not taking in the Legion, who can get to strength 9 on the charge to knock these guys over, because you have to be higher strength
That is true.
than what they are. I think Helm's the only one that can do it.
Timeout.
And that's a heroic strength.
Timeout. Helm would need to have a monstrous mount for the higher strength to knock you.
Oh, you're right.
To come in.
You're
If
right.
Normal cavalry,
Yep,
if you're
you're
strength
right.
6 or above, you're immune.
Yeah, you're right. So never mind. I mean, it's you're talking about like the Witch King then, who can't even.
He can't even
no, he can, because he's strength 6 on the Felbeast with the heroic strength.
No.
On
But
the
the strength modifies his strength
Yeah,
4.
it
It
doesn't
doesn't
modify
I
modify
don't think
the
that's
elbow.
true.
No.
I don't think that's true.
No.
I don't think that's true. It's the strength of the model.
We're working too hard. Smaug can do it.
Smaug can do it. Look,
There you go.
Smaug is a special case. Mumok can do it.
There.
Mumok
And
is a special case.
why here if he calls the strength as well.
Strength. Guahira with strength could do it if he gets to 9.
Which
Yes.
if he's
Which, if he's in this
if he's got
Legion,
his army
whatever
bonuses, he can
he
use
could
strength
do.
7 on the
Right.
charge. So
But again, I'm talking about mounted models. Like, the point is that all these wonderful things that we talk about, and rightfully so, about heroes who have horses with these +1 to wounds and are knocking everybody down and rolling bajillion, like Gullivar can't even do it
Yes.
to Treebeard. Gullivar, the king of knocking things over, cannot knock these guys over unless you call the strength.
Yeah.
And if he calls the strength, I guarantee you, unless it's the end of the game and Treebeard's out of might, there's no way Gullivar is going to win that fight.
Right.
Treebeard is going to do everything to win that fight.
And the
It's
big
not
thing
gonna
too in
happen.
that particular matchup is if Treebeard wins once, the
Once.
killing power of Gullivar goes down a lot.
A lot. A lot. Yes.
Because he will go from
A
having
lot.
5 attacks on the charge to probably having 2 attacks.
2 attacks
on the charge.
on the charge,
To be
maybe.
completely honest.
Yeah. So that I just want to make that point for the monster. And on top of the rend, which gets around the high defense that we're dealing with, on top of the hurl, and then of course Treebeard has the bludgeon. So I mean, he can actually kill an infinite number of Urukai scouts if they surround him. Yeah. He won't, because he'll flub it eventually. But
I don't know.
he could. It's theoretically possible if he keeps rolling
Scouts against
threes.
defense 8 recently. I know for a fact that 16 dice can do
Well, that's
no
3s to
wounds.
wound. The 3s to wound. So just don't
So,
fail to wound on the 3s.
Yeah, no.
And whatever you don't kill is knocked prone, I think.
With a bludgeon,
With a
yeah.
bludgeon, yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
You're in trouble.
I just want to make that point. I don't know that that is accurately captured in the combat stats necessarily, but that's why I said, if you take Treebeard, and Treebeard's on the field with Imrahil, Treebeard is perfectly happy to charge Imrahil. I don't think Imrahil wants to be anywhere near Treebeard.
Yeah.
Until Treebeard's out of might. And even then,
It's still iffy. and
Even
you're
then-
probably counting on a heroic defense in order to keep you alive
Yeah.
at that point.
I mean, look, I fought Treebeard at the tournament that we just had.
Yeah.
And my strategy when I ran out of might was, well, I just got to charge him with tons of guys and hope he doesn't roll a 6.
Yeah.
And he didn't roll a 6. If he had, there was not a single thing I could have done.
Yes.
And he would have killed like 12 dudes. Because I had defense 4 guys surrounding him. He would have picked up, Gladriel, thwack, a bajillion guys. Braga's dead. Everybody's dead, So that's the thing with these monsters, is that the big hero, especially the ones that are strength 6, which all these ones are, or above, their killing power, unless you get the traps, which you can do against monsters, but you can't knock them down, and that can dramatically reduce the killing power of these heroes that are coming. You're still looking at strength.
So heroic strength says that a hero model who declares that a hero model
Yep.
who declares that they are using heroic strength adds D3 to their strength characteristic for the duration of the fight phase.
Yep.
This cannot increase a hero's strength above 10.
Correct.
And it's applied before things that apply modifiers like wither.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
that means
Use
can
this
do that.
on a cavalry
I
model.
think what
You use
I'm
the strength.
thinking
You're thinking of
of-
Morgul Blade.
no. What I think I'm thinking of is Kamul's
Yes,
bonus,
Kamul's
which
just modifies
specifically
his.
says
Yeah,
that it modifies
that's right.
his.
that's right.
So
And the
that's
Morgul
what I'm
Blade functions
thinking.
that way as well. But no, if you had a Fell Beast and you're using the Fell Beast Strength 6 and you did a Heroic Strength, Witch the Lich King, which you would only do if the model was transfixed, but it may happen.
Right.
You could get to 9. But again, we're talking about like I don't think there's, and then no, not even the Knight of Umbar.
Yeah, Knight of Umbar can tie him at 8, which admittedly is not bad, but it's not.
Gotta get above for a monster's charge, yeah. So it's a very small amount of models. Like Gullivar can do it to Gwahir if nobody strikes.
And
Maybe
that's
able to
like,
do it with Gwahir if Gwahir strikes as well. He might. If Gully's like, oh, okay, let's do. You want to do that? Let's do this. This has never happened in the history of any game anywhere. 2 heroic strengths. Anyways, now we're down the rabbit hole.
now we're down the rabbit hole. Since we're down in the rabbit
Yeah.
hole, should we please cover Bayorn?
Let's do
good.
Beorn, yeah.
So from a rankings perspective, I had Bayorn two slots above Treebeard, which is merely because one,
That's 35, right?
it's 35 instead of 37, and this was again because I didn't allow Treebeard to trap with Miriam Pippin. I'm going to stand by 35 with Bayorn for a minute,
Yeah.
and explain that one a little. You guys had Bayorn basically around the same place.
No, we had him
as
exactly
Treebeard.
6.
You guys
We
had him
6.
both at 6.
Yeah.
So that was 2 spots below Treebeard
For
for
me.
you,
That's correct.
and 2 slots above Treebeard
Yeah.
for you. So before I get into Bayorn and how I didn't value him enough, talk me through. You of course had Bayorn ranked
Lower.
higher than Treebeard when
Originally.
we originally did the Monsters
Correct.
pod.
I did.
You had Bayorn above Treebeard as well.
Yeah.
Talk me through how this has changed a little, since you now have Treebeard at least
Well, it's only
higher
changed
as
for
a
me.
Slayer,
It's only changed for me.
and you're right keeping them
I
close.
think they're close, but I still think they aren't happening.
Look, I'm not going to argue too strongly against Bayorn at number 1. I do think in a one-on-one matchup, Bayorn against Treebeard, I think Bayorn's got the advantage because their bear hug is 3s to wound.
Yes.
And so you just got to win one fight and then
Unless
hug to
Treebeard
death.
heroic defenses. That's like the only way he
Which
avoids
they,
it.
in which case,
Yes.
is like, okay, well, Bayorn's going to probably do the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, or he's going to strike
Yeah.
and win the fight or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I went with Treebeard for a couple of reasons that became more obvious to me when I started playing around with the 3 monsters, and I played with all 3 of the monsters getting ready for this last tournament. One is that in bear form, which, by the way, sometimes Bayorn is stubborn. He does not. He's like Bruce Banner. He doesn't want to become the Hulk all the time. My son Dronak, who took Bayorn to the tournament, had like multiple games where it took 2 or 3 turns for him to get that 4+ to turn into a bear. So that's a thing, right? Treebeard is a monster from the beginning. So is Gwahir. And Bayorn usually is, but sometimes it's not. So that's a thing. That's not the thing I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
In bear form, which you want him in, because he's only defense 5 in man. He's perfectly good in man form. Fight 6, strength 5 with a 2-handed weapon and burly. He's got the 3s all over the place. But you want him in bear form because he's defense 8. And he's strength 8, which is better than strength 5 with a 2-handed weapon and burly. He has to charge things.
Yes.
When he's in bear form. And that can suck. Especially in a game where you are likely to be outnumbered, because to get any sort of army bonus with Bayorn, you have to take him with Radagast Alliance. The amount of green allies that Radagast Alliance has that can take troops is basically none, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a single one.
maybe
Unless they have survivors
maybe
of Great Time for
Thorin's
Battle of Five
company.
Armies, but
No,
I don't
they
think
do
they
not.
do.
No, they're not included in the alliance, which I
Yeah.
thought about. So what that means is that you really need Beorn. And of course, in a Green Alliance, if you have Gwaihir and Radagast and Beorn, that's your might pool. That's it. That's all you have. And so to have Beorn sort of running off after random guy, because random guy is the only guy that he can charge and he therefore must charge them, can mean you don't have the same control over him necessarily that you have in a fight with Treebeard or with Gwaihir.
Yeah.
So I have him ranked, spoiler alert, I have him ranked the lowest of the 3 monsters for that reason. And then the other thing is that, he's behind Gwaihir on the speed. He only moves 8 inches. He has no ranged attack. So he's behind Treebeard in that respect, because at least you can throw the stone if you can't reach anything. And Treebeard has 6 will. And so he's more resistant to magic. And of course, you get the army bonus with Treebeard, then he's immune to most magic that you would care about. So I have him the lowest of the 3 monsters for me, for that reason, fully acknowledging that if you put Beorn in a straight up fight with Treebeard or Gwaihir, Beorn is happy to charge either of them, and neither of them really want to charge Beorn because the threat of the bear hug is so severe. And I think that's true of basically any hero who does not have an elven made weapon.
Yeah.
Because the odds of losing the fight against Beorn, no, if you lose a fight against Beorn, you will probably die.
Right.
Especially if he's full stats. Because he's like, okay, well, I rolled a 2 or I rolled a 1. Well, let me roll a 3. Let me see if, the odds of it happening again, right? So, like, Aragorn, Gil-galad, maybe Elendil. I don't think so, though.
Gandalf if you can mobilize.
Gandalf if you can transfix
right,
him.
like that's the
right, like the
if
list
you
of
use
models
magic,
that
it's
would
a tiny list.
look like, is Boromir, Captain of the White Tower with that beautiful banner, going to charge Beorn? He might, but I don't think he's going to be happy about it.
Right, he better win is kind of what it comes down to every time. And
Yeah.
admittedly, he can strike more than most people can
Yeah.
against him. So
He's got the 3 fate and the 3 wounds, so he's better equipped to survive. Like the odds of Beorn rolling 7 3s or 6 3s is not great, but it's not 0. It's so that I fully acknowledge that, and I you could rank basically these 3 monsters in any order as long as they're. I do think all 3 of them are top 10 models.
Yeah.
And you could rank them in sort of any order. They all got their own strengths and their own weaknesses. But I would do Treebeard, Gwaihir, Beorn.
Yeah. As a slight bit of pushback to that as to why I liked Beorn more than Treebeard, because I can't remember where I put Beorn as regards Gwaihir. I thought I ranked Gwaihir.
You have Gwaihir 3rd.
That's what I thought. I was gonna say as
Which
the thing went along,
is defensible.
I felt like he was pretty darn good.
On the stats,
had trouble
it's
working on it.
defensible. They look that way, and I did that too, and I've changed my mind.
So as I was looking at Beorn, first of all, as regards Treebeard specifically, since these are the ones we're talking about immediately,
Mhm.
you get the 8-inch move instead of the 6-inch move, which is very helpful because it means that you do have a slightly larger threat range, albeit without the throwing stones, which is unfortunate. You don't get the monstrous charge, which would just be like over the top amazing, but you don't really need it in my experience, because the monstrous charge is mostly so you can double your wounding dice. In my experience, bear hugging is basically doubling your wounding dice. You just do it one at a time.
You are definitely better at killing heroes.
Oh yeah.
So
So
definitely
that's
better at killing heroes.
So in my experience, having only played against Beorn, because I've never used Beorn, in my experience, it sure feels the same. In fact, I feel a little worse about it. So there's that. Admittedly, I think it is you can only target one person in your fight.
Correct.
Bear hug,
That's right.
So,
So
like,
it's
so in that
not
sense,
as
it's
good
like a
against
rend.
troops.
But against troops, oh shucks, I'm just got tons of attacks with a really high strength as it is. So it's not.
He's the worst against troops.
Yeah.
Because you have the Blooded with Treebeard.
Yeah.
And for most troops, that's going to be 3s.
And
And if it's not 3s, it's going to be 4s. And then you've got the monstrous charge, which is great for taking out cav models with Gwaihir.
So there's that. But yeah, I mean, just on the whole, I feel like Bayorn has a little more versatility. I mean, even on the point of him not transforming, because I evaluated Bayorn as a single model. I didn't look at the two different ones apart, which is why Bayorn with the axe didn't place quite as high earlier in the Slayer rankings.
Well, he didn't place high because you didn't rank him.
Right, which is what I just said. But the reason why, like in my estimation, even if he takes a while to get into form, I mean, yes, technically Bayorn in man form is not as good at killing things as, Rythbryt, for example. That is true. He's not bad at it.
No, he's not
like,
bad.
His actual killing power is not that much worse because you're basically strength 7 instead of strength 8. And you're still pretty high fight. At the very least, it's good enough, right, to do what you typically need.
No, I have man Bayorn at 26.
So
No secret there. He's fight 6, 3-3-3-3-3.
Yeah.
With strength defense.
So, I really like Bayorn. In my mind, it was kind of a toss-up. I ended up going with Bayorn just because slightly more versatility, and I thought I could get him into some fights a little easier. And I felt like strength 10 wounding is just really hard to get to with anybody. So I ended up going that route. But
No, look, you will get Bayorn into fights. It may not be the fights you want, but he will fight. He will fight a long time.
you can definitely suicide bomb him by giving him one guy really in a very specific direction for him that he has to now chase, and that's fine. But, but he's going to kill that person. So,
Look, you don't really want to charge Bayorn if you're a hero because of the bear hug. You don't want to charge Treebeard with troops because of the bludgeon. And you have a really hard time charging Gwyger because he moves so freaking fast.
Yeah.
So, I agree. The toss-up is how I describe it.
Bayorn for me, so he came in a few spots above Treebeard, and then I had to mea culpa again because the original evaluation I did assumed that he would just attack Shagrat. Because I'm like, okay, we got the 3 attacks, right? Strength 8, we're winning on 4s. How likely am I to actually deal wounds? How many wounds should I expect to get against this guy with the bear hug? And, strength 10 wounds defense 7, the same as it wounds defense 5.
Yep.
Right? It's going to be on 3s.
It's going to be 3s.
And so I actually sat down just now and I created a distribution table that asks what the likelihood is of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 10 different wounds. And here's how the math works out. Obviously, your chance of getting 1 wound is a 2 in 3 chance, right?
Yep.
You win on 3s, so 67%.
Yep.
2 wounds is cumulative probabilities because you got to do the first wound in order to be able to do the second one.
That's right.
So
it's
2
going to go down.
thirds
It's not going to be any
times
higher
2
than
thirds is going to be 44%.
Yep.
Right? And so you basically get 67%, 44%, and a near 30% of dealing 3 wounds. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
If in 3 rounds, one of those rounds you deal 3 wounds to somebody, that means on the other 2 rounds, assuming you lose 1 and you win 1, you're probably killing someone after 3 rounds. Right? So, and by that time, they're probably out of might. Because you're fighting.
Because
They're probably not
They got to
fighting.
strike every time.
They had to strike. Now you have the fight value advantage, and you're just dealing more wounds.
Right. And Shagrat's going to wound him on what?
6.
6s,
It
right?
depends on the
26s.
legion that he's from and how many people are in the fight. Because in the
sure.
Kirthungal
Okay,
Legion, you can't get the +1 to wound.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, 6s.
It's going to be 6.
Right? Most people field him from the straight up Mordor list, so 6s. Let's assume 6s. That's not good. By pro tip, that's not good.
If you're wounding on 6s and he's wounding on 3s,
Yeah.
not advantageous.
And an important thing to note too, I am assuming that you're not going to might any of these
rolls.
rolls.
Yep.
Because here's the thing, right? Again, if you're a fight 8 monster and you're being wounded on 6s if you lose, there's not a lot of reason for you to strike against a fight 5 model that is striking against you. Because half the time he's going to tie your fight value or lose to you.
Yeah.
So you just save your might for the bear hug or boosting your roll or boosting a fate. And it's like,
Yeah,
look,
and if you're,
I'm not worried here.
yeah, and if you are worried, you defense. You go with the defense.
You can
instead of
do
the
that
strike,
too,
because
right?
you're like, well,
Yeah.
I will defense every time that you strike, and then I'll be fight 8 and you'll be fight
And then we
5.
fight 5. And then I will just, whatever I haven't hugged to death.
Right.
But when you build the generated matrix of like how likely are you, by the way, he has a 2% chance of dealing 10 wounds.
Look, you don't. There is
2%. That is
Yeah.
what we call in statistics an unlikely but non-zero probability. Which means, like black swans, you don't see them very often, but they exist.
so what?
And when it happens, it's great. On
What's
average,
the stats for 6? Because 6 is
six
basically
moons is an
everybody.
8.78% chance.
All right, look.
So like a 1 in 11 rounds
Right.
that you win, you're going to deal 6 wounds. 6 wounds for almost
In a
everybody
single round.
is a death sentence.
Yeah.
Right? And 4 is a more reasonable death
Right.
sentence because a lot of heroes are either 2 and 2 or 3 and
Mhm.
1, which means maximum. And that 4 is a 19.75% chance. So basically 1 in 5 rounds you can auto kill a 3 wound 1
without
fate hero
spending any
or a
might.
2/2
Yes.
with no might.
No might at all.
0 might at all.
Yeah.
Maybe to strike, but that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? So keep in mind for the heroes that we're about to view, 1 in 5 rounds, they could be insta-killed by Beorn.
Yep.
But here's the important thing. When you average the probabilities of getting each of those distinct bins,
Mm-hmm.
right? So not 67% times 1, but 22%, because 22% of the time you deal 1 wound and not 2 wounds. Right? When you do that, you deal 1.9653 wounds to whoever you're doing. So basically, you can expect whenever you bear hug to deal about 2 wounds every single time.
Just count on it.
That's still
Mark it down.
very, very good.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And for a hero, look, you don't want to do 2 wounds because that's probably at a minimum 2 fate.
Right.
And
Or-
it's probably
or-
2 fate with a might
Right.
point.
It basically means you have to
Because-
pass whatever fate you have
right.
because you may be dead.
And you roll one at a time.
Yeah.
So you may get lucky right on the first one and be like, you may only get 1 wound,
Right.
and then the next one you flub. But the 1 wound, you may get a couple of might points
Yeah.
and
Right.
a couple of fate
Might,
points out of it
fate.
because there is no way where they're just going to be like, you know what, I'm just going to take a wound from the
Right.
bear hug.
Well, I mean, they may, you know, like if you're a 3-wound model with 1 fate point, you may say, well, okay, I'll take the first one.
You might.
Just so that you know going into it, like, right, because if you blow your fate and you completely botch it,
Right.
then Baron's like, well, I'm going to might all these other ones because
Sure.
I will kill
I'm
you
gonna
now,
kill you.
right?
Yeah,
So you'll
I'll
be
kill you
like,
right now.
yeah, I'll take
That's
the
true.
first
You
one.
might do that.
Yeah, I'll take the
But,
second one.
I mean,
oh, crap.
But if you're the armored leader, that's points.
That's points.
Right. So if you know, again, you can sort of. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Having fought Beorn, oh my gosh.
A lot.
Here's the thing: is that for most heroes, you have only a couple of turns for this kind of killing power. Like it's like the Durin Celeborn thing that we talked about. Celeborn is great until you run out of the stats. He can do this every time he wins a fight. And oh, by the way, he's always fight 8. So even if he's out of might, you never feel safe charging Beorn. Even if you have might and you're fight 6 and you're going to do the strike and you're like, I've got all the dice in the world, but I've only got 1 strike in hero. I better not flub this. I better get I got to get a 3. If I get a 2 or heaven forbid a 1 and I'm fight 6, this may be it. Doesn't matter how many dice I have. And that's the thing about these monsters, because they're all fight 8, all 3 of them, that they can just keep going and going and going. And the kill power is still up there, even if they're out of stat.
When I accounted for this, the 1.96 wounds
Yeah.
was slightly better than the 1.5 that he'll get if he uses just his 3 attacks wounding on forwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
He bumped up,
Well, look, he's going to rend Shagrat instead of just
right,
3s,
right, right.
Either way,
right.
yeah.
So it was 2 wounds with 3s and 2 wounds basically with the hug.
Yeah.
So it basically did nothing. And he moved up like you know, the slight nuances and stuff. I don't think I did the rend, but the slight nuance that he got from 1.5 to 1.9 moved him up exactly 1 slot.
Okay.
So I mean, for me, he doesn't have a bubble buff. He's an 8-inch move model instead of 10. He, you know, I mean, he's expensive. There were things that if you're not going to knock things over, it's going to be very hard for you to make up points elsewhere.
Yeah, that's
So for me, Beorn is a great model. I don't want to face him. He may be only 35th, 36th on my list. I still don't want to face him, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's telling for him. He made it to 14. Thank you guys for making sure he got good publicity here. He just, you know, my framework wasn't rewarding him.